Let's get familiar with the types of figurative language that relate to the meaning of a word. A simile makes its point by comparing two things using the words like or as. For example, if someone were to describe the stars in the sky as the stars shine like diamonds against black velvet, you wouldn't believe that the night sky is actually black velvet, right? How about this example? The two of them were as different as night and day. In this sentence, we're comparing people to night and day, not the actual night and day. The purpose of the simile is to illustrate something in a visual way. A metaphor also compares its subjects, but in a much stronger way. Rather than being like something, a metaphor compares two things indirectly. For example, I can't start my day without coffee. To me, caffeine is life. Is this sentence meant to be taken literally? No. By comparing caffeine to life, the value of the caffeine is increased because people consider life to be the most important thing. Let's try another example. Last night's homework was a breeze. Does this sentence literally mean that the homework was wind? That wouldn't make sense. However, the meaning of the comparison could be that the homework was not hard, like a breeze. When you personify something, you're giving human qualities to a non-human subject. For example, the wind whispered through the trees. Wind can't speak. However, you can imagine hearing the wind blow through the leaves of a tree. Here's another example. The birds gossiped to each other across the forest. Do birds gossip? Maybe if they could speak, but it's generally accepted that birds do not speak. The imagery of this metaphor is that of birds twittering through the forest. Their twittering is compared to the sound of people gossiping. Hyperbole is used to make a point through extreme exaggeration. For example, I'm so hungry I could eat a horse. This doesn't mean that someone is so hungry they could literally eat a horse. However, the exaggeration is meant to give the image of an enormous appetite. Here's another example. It was so quiet in the room you could hear a pin drop. This doesn't mean that you could actually hear a pin drop, but the quietness in the room is exaggerated to give an image of complete silence. You will find symbolism wherever a noun or action that has its own separate meaning is used to represent a different idea. This is one of the trickier uses of figurative language, as it does not directly show the point that it makes and must often be figured out by the reader. An example of symbolism would be the scar on Harry Potter's forehead, which is in the shape of a lightning bolt. The scar stands for so many things. However, most people consider it symbolic of his parents' sacrifice for his life. Another example of symbolism comes from Shakespeare's play Romeo and Juliet. In the play, Juliet asks, "Would a rose by any other name smell as sweet?" She asks this when she finds out that her great love Romeo is a Montague, the arch enemies of her family, the Capulets.